Welcome back, my brave and beautiful humans, to another episode of Soul Hygiene. I am so excited to have my friend Miss Stacy here with us. She was on with us, I think, about a month and a half ago.
Hmm.
We recorded an episode, and I was struggling um, with my allergies really bad at that time. So this one's going to go a lot smoother. I can guarantee it. But I'm excited to have her here, and we're just going to touch on a few things that um, I think Stacy has a real good outlook and some insight to, how women feel about their bodies, what physical fitness can do. I know before we started recording, we were talking about just being so overwhelmed with in our minds, and that does affect our bodies. It really does. Stress is a horrible thing when it comes to women's bodies, hormones, gaining weight. It's one of those things that we struggle with. And I think even if you don't struggle with it, you'll find some common ground in what we're going to talk about here. So I'm really excited for her to just share some of her insight and give us some clarity in some things. So welcome back, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me back. I love seeing
Course.
you, your posts, how inspiring they are, and I think when you wrote, I think it was today, and you said something about like overcoming, and we didn't really have a topic, that we picked out, and I thought, what a great topic because um, you know, everybody thinks that they're alone in things, and like so many people struggle from so many similar things. Like your
Yeah.
journey might be different, but at the core of our being, there's something in us that tells us, like we're not worthy, or
Yeah.
I have a beautiful thing in my career to where I get to have women be very vulnerable and share their journey with me. Um, um, so when I meet a woman or a new client, whether I've known them for years or not, like I want everybody to know that like I'm not the coach that shares. Like everything is treated with HIPAA. Like your health history, my clients are confidential. Nobody knows that you're working with me unless it's up to them, and obviously everything is confidential. It's and I don't even need to ever be told that. I think if you talk about a matter of the heart, I just think it's something that you keep private with somebody. I've never been the kind of person that you have to say like, can you keep that between us? Like it would never, like it's very, it's like a trust. Somebody trusts you with their most vulnerable parts, and it's not your story to tell. It's your
Right.
story to listen and try and find ways for them to maybe overcome that. Um, but every woman that I've ever worked with along my journey so far, even when I was training like friends and friends of friends, before I ever became like a certified personal trainer, and I was just doing it for fun, like the stories that you would hear, and they date back to like I remember the first time when I was called chubby. I wasn't even out of high school yet. You know what I mean? And I was a size 3 in high school. And somebody said, "Oh, we're getting a little chubby this summer, huh?" And I was like, "Chubby? I better wear a t-shirt over my swimsuit all summer. Like I'm chubby now, and like I was never chubby. Like I look back at like pictures but like I thought I was because of that one comment made years ago, and that can have a lasting impact, or like, a ex boyfriend saying something to a woman, or an ex-husband saying something, or you know um unkind things stick with people, and they make lasting impacts. And so yeah, so I get the pleasure of hearing those vulnerable stories and trying to help women overcome that with like exercise and nutrition, because a lot of times we have this belief that we're not good enough, or we're not strong enough, or we're so far, like I'm so weak, or I'm so overweight, or I'm so this, or I'm so that, or I'm so intimidated that we don't even start. I have friends that are like terrified to get off the treadmill. they'd had gym memberships for years, but they wouldn't imagine stepping into like the weights area because they're, like, what if I do something wrong? And I was like, well, what if he doesn't know you're doing it right, or so and so doesn't know, or like, like people just get so intimidated, and fear stops them,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Um, and everything that I've been through in my life, from like growing up kind of in a crazy household, to addiction. I know, and I feel this way. You see people on social media, you see people that are fit, or you see trainers, or you see bodybuilders, and everybody's like, oh, every bodybuilder is a motivational speaker. You know what I mean? I had a buddy say that one time. They're like, every bodybuilder on social media thinks that they're like gonna save the world, and I'm like, you don't understand it though.
Yeah.
There's something about failing at whatever exercise you're trying to do, or not being good at it, or getting better at it, even, or just even accomplishing a 15-minute workout, that you're like, it builds up so much self pride and confidence, and you can't explain it. You can't grasp it. You can't. I mean, I hated working out. I mean, 2015, I was like, I was watching the clock. I was like, am I done yet? It's like 15 minutes in and I got an hour, and I'm like, how am I going to like pretend that I really am enjoying myself? And then I honestly, I prayed on it. I was like, I know, that this is good for me, and I want to get to a point where I like it. But had I found that long before 2015, it would have changed my life long ago. I know it would have, because since doing so, I've gained confidence in like speaking in public, or I've gained confidence in like going to random gyms that I would never go to. And, they're like really professional, and they have a lot of like really elite trainers or bodybuilders there. And I'm just a newbie, or, in that showcase. Right. But here's the thing. If you can only learn from those people, and people that are more confident and secure in themselves, want to see other people win. And like, I think when somebody doesn't love themselves enough, or they're not confident, and those are the people that are like, like filming, or making rude comments, but you have to know that those people are unhappy, and so like somebody that's confident, or like a gym goer, would just only support the person that's a newbie, and so I know that on my level, so it makes me more confident to go and choose and try to do other things. But also, I mean, personally, in my relationships in my life, the things that I would allow in my life, and the people that I would allow in my life, and before ever becoming more confident and training, um, it's night and day. In the last 10 years, the my evolution, I guess I will say, just with like training and everything, like that's where I go. Like, you have an issue, you have a hard time, like you go and you just, I don't care if you take it out on a rower, you know what I mean? Or you're just like, you and the rower, you're just there, and it's nobody but you, and it's nobody but the equipment. It's nothing with you, but the weights or whatever. And you just get to work through it. You get to, because that's the only way, is right, is through anything. You got to work through it. You can't go around it, you
Right.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, let me touch on a few things that you said, because I think there's a lot there. Honestly. I was bullied for my weight as well. I mean, all my life, basically. Um, but I've always been overweight since I was a baby. I was like the Michelin baby, with all the rolls and the obviously I didn't get rid of them, but
Well,
um, and so I became confident in being that person, until you get in relationships where there's abuse, and you're being told, you can't do these things, and you can't do this, and people judging you without even knowing you. Like, no one, before you tell me I'm lazy, why don't you ask me why I can't walk that fast? You know?
Right.
And I
Right.
think that's the whole thing about, when you touched on like gym people, you think they're going to save the world. That, and they, in gym people, I call them gym people because I'm grouping them all together, but,
Yeah. Yeah.
physical fitness trainers, or, guys who go and lift all the time, they can get this facade that they're just the best, and they're, the best at everything. And people look at them and be like, oh, they're just amazing. This is their life. This is all they do, without getting to know that person. And I think on the flip side, it's the same way. It's the exact same way. No one is free from judgment in this world.
No. No.
And so it's how you manage your reaction to those. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, like for me, it was very hard to manage my reaction to being bullied when I went into relationships where I was also bullied.
Yeah.
So now I'm in this healing journey that I've been in for 5 years, and you can't fix everything all at once.
Nope.
And just because I said I am going to heal, and there are certain things in my life that changed right away. My mindset changed right away because I was determined that I was not going to stay on the path I was on, right?
Mhm.
But you have to take steps. I survived COVID, almost died of that, and have other things that prevent me from truly doing what I would like to do physically. But my next step is, I was talking to you about, is I call him my image coach, but I found someone who um, understood where I was at the time. And when I explained to him how I was feeling, he was like, okay, let's work on this. So that's a step process,
Yeah.
right? Just because I'm a podcaster and I'm vulnerable and I'm telling everybody I'm on this healing journey doesn't mean that I don't have things daily that I work on, and life accomplishments that I need to meet, and things that hit me in the face, and oh boy, I better back up a little bit and see if I need to take some accountability or do something about this, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
we've talked before. My goal right now is to be at a certain weight by my birthday next year, and I just had my birthday last week. So, I'm determined that this is going to happen. But I had to get to that point where mentally I was ready to take that accountability, but also look at myself and say, forgive those bullies,
Yeah.
forgive those people who judged you without knowing you.
Mhm.
Let it go.
Yeah.
Because if we continue to marinate in that mentality, and we continue to hold those things, we're never going to get past them. So I had to come to that point where I'm like, you know what? Yeah, when I was bullied almost all my life, that did something to my psyche. That did something to me mentally that it shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And so I'm blessed that I have people like you that I can talk to, or
Yep.
like, other coaches that I come in contact with to get little nuggets of inspiration and encouragement from, because I don't think everybody has that. And that's kind of what I want this podcast to be, bringing people on to tell you, you don't have to stay where you are.
No. And
You
you're not
can
alone.
grow. Yeah. And
Yeah.
you're not alone. And I love that, because we were talking about, overcoming mind battles. And a lot of what I have dealt with, coming to the realization of I need to change my body, I had to change my mind first.
Yeah.
And constantly in a mind battle, if you're constantly having anxiety or depression, or, not able to see through this haze of insecurities, then you're not going to get better. You're
Right.
not going to get healthier. You're not going to lose that weight or start working out, or, become a successful entrepreneur. You have to change your mindset.
Yeah.
That's what starts first. And it starts in the soul, right? Our core values are deep within us.
Mm-hmm.
If we stick to those core values that we hold, that we should have, and we switch our mindset, anything is possible.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. And, the mindset part is crucial in the beginning because, I have people reach out to me and there's different stages of like contemplating and there's different stages of
Mhm.
readiness, right? And so
Right.
sometimes you just want to verbally put it out there in the world and it takes time to actually act upon it, right? And so a lot of women think that, and I say women because I'm a women's fitness coach. Like I work with men, but now I just specialize in women. It's near and dear to my heart because of where the things that I've overcome in my life. And, a lot of women think that like I just don't have the motivation to like you do. And I'm like, you don't, because here's the thing. You're not gonna you're not going to want to work out at 6 o'clock in the morning, and you're not going to want to work out after working all day, like because I have morning and I have evening classes. And I'm going to tell you, you're not going to want to do it, but you have to do it because we need to create the habit. Because if you are stressed or you have anxiety, we already know chemically, what the
Mhm.
body does when we contract muscles. It releases serotonin, dopamine, a little epinephrine, adrenaline, like it helps us with coping chemically in our brain and our hormones. But and then there's the sense of accomplishment and being proud of ourselves. Like I do a lot with goal setting, and like Mondays are check-ins, but I don't want, because you get a dopamine release like reaching out to a coach, right? You get a dopamine release like just saying I'm going to come for 3 workouts. But there's also something subconsciously that happens when you don't come to 3 workouts. Like
Mhm.
you don't realize it, but it's almost like letting yourself down, right?
Yeah.
And so when we set goals on Monday, I'm like, don't tell me you're going to come to 2 if you're only going to come to 1. Tell me you're going to come to 1 and come to 1, or tell me you're going to come to 2 and make 3. Because I
Mhm.
don't want you letting your self-belief down.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a glass of water. You're going to drink 1 more glass of water this week. I want 1 step to a healthier you, whatever that looks like. If it looks like a walk in the beginning, like we're just talking about like baby stepping into a program, because not everybody starts with lifting a weight,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
but the thing is, I want you to pick 2 times in that week where you're going to do your physical activity, whether it's a walk to the mailbox or, going up and down your steps a few times or whatever. My cats are going, they got the zoomies right now. Whichever it is, because every Tuesday at 6 o'clock, this is your routine now. And the only way we can build this habit for you is for you to have this routine. And I can't help you build this routine if you keep not showing up. And so their motivation really is, like Mel Robbins says, motivation is garbage. Like I don't feel like doing it every day, but I know how I feel after I do it.
And I know
You
how
know,
I feel when I don't do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So habits are huge, and they're especially when it comes to eating. There's a lot of, and I've struggled with it over the years. I've done everything from, before I was certified, I've done everything from like, the starvation diet to like the cabbage soup, the paleo, to keto. I've done all the eating styles. Until I really, really learned like what food does. I mean, like I was actually just telling somebody this the other day. I went to Trader Joe's for the first time. Um, since I moved to Cedar Rapids, and I've been wanting to go. But I walked through Trader Joe's, and I don't see food. I see carbs, fats, and proteins. I just do. I'm just like, okay, what's this? What's this? Like, you know what I mean? Because that, and but like, because I know what that does for my body, right? I know, like, whatever goals somebody has, whether it's blood sugar, cholesterol, building muscle, losing weight, whatever it is, like we can fix it with food. Like food is medicine, really.
Mhm.
Um, but there's this Well, first of all, we got to break the reward system we grew up with. Every time we did something right, we were driving through Dairy Queen, which is,
Yeah.
typical for my family. Like, oh, you got a good grade, we're going to go to Dairy Queen or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, just
Yep.
as an
Yep.
example,
Yep. Bomb
you know,
pops and pizza and yep. Yep.
yeah, push pot, you name it. We had all kinds of stuff. You guys can have a Coke after dinner if you're good, or, like a Coke a week or
Yeah.
something, and so we kind of need to, like, break the reward habit a little bit. And then the biggest struggle with nutrition is the self-belief of self-worth. It is. And I'm not alone in it. And every single woman that I train has some form of disordered eating or unhealthy relationship with food. And I can wholeheartedly say that that's 100% every woman that has crossed my door, crossed my screen, has issues with that. And whether it's being told when we grew up that we were supposed to not eat enough, you know what I mean? We were supposed to be skinny, and you're not supposed to eat, and you're not supposed to eat before bedtime. And, there's all these things out in the universe that we're told, right? And eat salads are healthy, that kind of thing. And it's a crying shame that we don't get that education in school. But, it's trying to break free of eating like 100 or 1,000 calories a day. That's not healthy. I'm saying that because I had a check-in today with a young lady, and I said, how is, what's the goal this week? And she sent me her tracking app, and I'm like, 1,100 calories. Where did you get that number? I was like, that's not what we discussed. And she goes, well, that's what my tracking app put me. And that's the thing about food tracking apps. They usually use in the beginning when you get one. I mean, I'll go into this for just a brief second, but in the beginning when you get one, they use something called your resting metabolic rate,
Yeah.
which is like how many calories you need to survive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that is like basic numbers, and like you could really wreck your thyroid with that. I prefer to feed my people way more, and create more habits, and maybe have them lose weight slower than, and maybe maintain that as a habit. I want to educate, versus like, we're going to go through this strict calorie restriction. You're going to lose 10 pounds in a month, and you're going to gain it back in 6 weeks. Like, we don't want to do that.
I've been there.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And so then I have them send me like, okay, are you going to do a meal plan this week? Are you going to do macros this week? What do we need help with? Everybody gets personalized. Like, the one-to-many is amazing. I never realized how amazing it could be. Until I hired my business coaches, who I was, talking to you about. They've been amazing, because one-to-many is very one-on-one. Every Monday, everybody gets an individual reach out. Give me your goals for this week. Everybody gets individual, like, nutrition coaching. Macros is just a term that we use. It's your proteins, carbs, and your fats. And if I have a lady that just emailed me her meal plan, I'm going to look over her meal plan, make any tweaks to it. I want to teach people how to do it. I want to teach people how not to need me, but to want to need me,
Yeah.
but it's very customizable, one-to-many. Like, even like my live sessions that I do every week, I've got ladies that will do a sit to stand, like sitting on their chair and standing, that can't squat. So it's great because they get that sisterhood too. It's been a blessing. And my biggest hurdle in my business is my imposter syndrome. My coach even said that to me a few weeks ago. And we're doing stuff, and you'll since you want to do the podcast, for a living. Are we running over? Are we okay on time?
Oh no, we're good. We're good.
Oh, okay. Okay. Since you want to do this podcast, it would eventually be like a business for you, right? And so, there's all kinds of things that you'll have to learn that you never realized, like I did not realize. And I was very blessed in my hometown that when I went from construction trades to being a personal trainer, I had already been bodybuilding and in the fitness community for a long time. So God blessed me with tons of referrals. I had no problem filling my one-on-one clients. Like I literally had 9 clients a day. You know what I mean? Back to back to back to back. Like it was great. And when I would lose a client, I'd post it and it would get filled. I was very blessed. And I never had to be good at sales. I never had to be good at sales. I'm not good at sales. I'm getting better at sales. But when you are an online coach, and right now I'm very lucky that everybody in my program has been an organic lead or from social media. I'm not paid for any ads yet. And I'm not paying for ads yet. I will this year pay for ads, but we're not paying for ads. You know, like my coaches, they're like, okay, here's a step. You know, your Donkey Kong, you
Yeah.
got the next barrel, you get the next step, kind of thing. So we're writing a script, and I need
Hmm.
to write a script, and I need to be there, and then I did like be good at this script because I was like, I hate this sales stuff, you guys. Like, I just feel like, my heart is in the right place and everybody needs to, work out and have fitness and they should want this for themselves, right? And they're like, you need to be good at sales because you care. And you got Joe Schmo out here selling programs to people for, 2 times as much as you're selling them for that doesn't care if they learn a
Right.
habit or not. And they're like, you want to educate and that's why you need and actually give a shit per se, excuse my French, for your client. And you got people on the internet just doing the same thing you're doing and don't. And that's why
Yeah.
you need to become good at it because they can sell, but they don't care, and you can't sell and you care, so you need to get good at it. And I was like, wow, that makes a lot of sense, and that's the
Yeah.
truth, because I mean, I feel that way wholeheartedly about anything I do. Like I I promote a vitamin company too, because you can't explain a feeling per se, but I love my vitamins, and I would have never imagined the way that I feel on them. I've been using them for like almost a year and a half, and I'm glad I gave them a shot. But like, I had a lady reach out to me. And she goes, "Oh, I see that you're promoting that." And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "Okay, I think I want to promote it too. You make money at it, right?" And I said, "Yeah, I can make some good money depending on how much effort you put in every month, right?" And I've gone on a few trips, and there's a great community of people that are in it. And she goes, I said, "Well, cool. I'll get you an account. We'll get you your first month of product." And she goes, "Oh, I don't want to use it. I just want to sell it." And I'm like, "Excuse me?" And she's like, "No, I'm not going to use the product. I'm just going to sell it." I'm like, "How can you sell it if you don't believe in it?" And she goes, "Well,
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell people it's good for you." And I'm like, "You're not going to be on my team." And she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "You're not going to be on my team. Find somebody else to work with." I said, I said, I don't sell bullshit. If you don't believe in it and your heart's not in it, it's not a
Yeah.
good thing. It's kind of grimy to me, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just, so yeah, so you get to learn all kinds of things. But my business coach said to me, he goes, "You're holding yourself back." And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "Because you don't think for some reason that you're capable of this." And he goes, "I coach a lot of people." And he goes, "You're way more capable than a lot of people." He's like, "You need to get this out of your head and get over this hurdle." He's like, and just go full bore. And he's like, "Quit dragging your feet on it." Cause I'm like, cause you get in your head about it, like whatever,
Yeah.
like, and you're like, like one big move and you're like, everything's riding on this, everything's riding on, this is my career. I mean, granted, I could go back to doing whatever, like I could go back to being in the union and being a plumber. I sold my license. Like I could go back to making 6 figures tomorrow. I could call my business agent up and he'd be like, "Yeah, this is the job I'm going to send you to." But that's not where my heart is at. Like I'm changing women's lives. It's changing my life. It's like you can't explain how your cup gets
Right.
filled when
Yeah.
somebody reaches out to you and they said, "I can go up a set of stairs and my knees don't hurt anymore."
Well, and I think that's just amazing because what your coach said to you is I mean, really works in all facets of life, doesn't it? Like, get off your butt and just do it. Because
Yeah.
believe in yourself. And I think that goes for anyone who, like me, wants to lose weight but didn't know how, or was scared to, or had this thing in my head that I can't do it, because of my limitations. I can do it. I can. It
Yes.
is just a matter of getting out of your own head and believing that you can. I mean, and
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people, like you said, they don't believe in themselves, or
Mm-hmm.
don't have the support system to believe in them.
That's
Um,
it. That's it. It's
yeah,
a life changer because
yeah,
on days that I doubt myself, and everybody does, you need that person. My business coach, I have two of them. I have the guy that owns he's a personal trainer. He owns 3 gyms in Naperville, does very well for himself. And then I have my business coach, who is more on the finance side. He is knows sales inside and out, Casey. But that's the rough days. They're texting me and they're like, you know, that because I have a goal. I want to make 10 grand a month in a year from starting my business. And September will be a year, and we're not paying for ads yet until I'm comfortable, but I can see it happening. I can see it happening. It might be at a year. It might be a little after a year, but I can see it happening this year. But the self-doubt sets in, and then they're like they send you a little text on Friday, are you ready to burn the boat? You know what I mean? Like, are you ready to burn that's
yeah,
just a kick in the butt. Somebody believing in you, one person is all it takes, and that's what I try to be for my women. But and I've had great mentors in my life, especially when I was in the plumbing trades. Here's this woman joining a male dominated career in Dubuque when I started. 7 years prior to me starting, they wouldn't even discuss it in the city of Dubuque. Women in the construction trades, they wouldn't discuss it. My dad didn't want me to do it. He was a plumber. He had his own business. He did not want me to join the union, or just go on the trades at all.
yeah.
But here I am showing up to a job site of 40 guys, me and little me in a hard hat, 27 years old, 26 years old, 6, and nobody wants you to succeed. Not one of them. And it wasn't until I ran across a year later, ran across the boss that taught me everything. And he goes, "All right, you're going to run work." I mean, like 1 year, like I got laid off with the one company I worked for the first year. They got really slow in work. They laid off 4 people. Thank God I was laid off by them. Got picked up by another company, was with that other company for 14 years, and had like my work dad. And he goes, "I don't care what sex you are." He goes, "You can do the job or you can't do the job." And he taught me everything he knows. He taught me to read prints. And then next thing you know, I'm like running work, but that one person believing in me, the year prior to being treated the way that I was, and like thinking that I was maybe going to not finish my license or my apprenticeship, to going a year later and having one person be like, "You know what, you're going to run work. You're so talented and you're great at reading prints. I'm going to have you run a job in a couple of years."
That's
That's
amazing.
night and day.
Yeah,
The same thing as a plant. You talk to a plant this way, you talk to a plant that way. People are the same way.
yeah.
And
Well, I'm just so encouraged by you. And um can you let people know what your website is real quick, in case they want to look it up, and how they can get in contact with you?
yeah, absolutely. So on Facebook, it's McDermott Wellness, and then same thing on Instagram, McDermott Wellness. I have my own personal page, which is Stacy Rose. But if you want to reach out to me, I offer a free week to women that want a free week of training. There's a link in the bio of my Instagram and my McDermott Wellness Facebook page. Click the link. It will take you to a registration page. In the registration page, you get some free content, like, a few recipes and habit trackers, grocery list, a couple of recorded workout sessions. and then you're able to join for a free live week of training. I was like telling you, it's automated because I had to learn that. So you get some automated texts and some automated emails, but a lot of the emails are going to junk mail. So be sure to check. Like ladies that register, I'll usually be in contact with you through the portal and everything. But if you don't see the email, check your junk mail because sometimes they go there. They don't
Yeah.
recognize it. So, and actually, your email was in my junk mail too. Darn it.
Okay.
So yeah, but I already know
Check
to
it when
look
we're done.
there. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah. I'll have to
yeah,
check
I
that when
know.
we're done.
Yeah, and I mean I really kind of like my name my niche, if you were to say it, would be women that are perimenopausal, all the way to 60. So like 35 to like 60ish, women that don't understand like why can't I eat the way I used to when I was 20, now I'm getting this belly fat or like I feel
Yeah.
weaker. So I just want to teach them, that they are capable of reversing it, really.
Right. And I just want to end the show on, you know, if you don't have anyone that believes in you, I know Stacy and I do, because
Absolutely.
we've been there. I'm going through it. I'm going through menopause right now, just gained weight out of nowhere after having surgery. And it's the hardest weight to lose. And
Yes.
so, if you don't have anyone, reach out to us because we're more than happy to tell you, that we believe in you and to give you some encouragement to just, follow whatever your path is that you're going, whether it's fitness, losing weight, becoming a podcaster or a plumber,
Yeah,
we're,
yeah. Changing your habits. Yeah,
yes,
just
more
change.
than happy to encourage you and tell you that we.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for another episode of Soul Hygiene. We will see you later.